Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So good to see all of you. We wanted to start with the poem on page 1, on the bottom page, the last stanza. And before we start, I wanted to invite you to look at the Hebrew or the transliteration and see all the opportunities to sigh, to get us into the mood, into the stance, into a feeling of letting go, of finding a sukkah of peace within ourselves, within this group, within this building, and within the world. We can see hikale. There's an opportunity for an ah there. Na, ufros, haviv, Allah, et sukkot, shlomach, shalomach. So sing with us and see if there are opportunities for you to sigh, to release whatever this week has built up in you, and to invite some presence into yourself and into this room with each other.
Ufros, haviv Allah. Welcome, everyone. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So I'm going to encourage folks. We're a little bit of a more intimate crowd tonight. So if you want to be brave and come a little bit closer, this is an invitation to maybe sit in the front. I'm feeling a little cold over here, actually. So if you feel so inclined, those coming in, if you feel inclined to move in a little bit, I always like to think the best kind of davening, the best kind of prayer is what we call CTA style davening, which is imagine yourself on the L at rush hour, kind of packed together. But instead of the kind of annoyed and frenetic energy that you might feel then, we instead feel the kind of joyful, songful energy of being close to our community. So thank you, folks. So welcome, everyone, whether you're here for the first time or you're a long timer, whether you can read Hebrew or you're working your way through the transliteration, and whether you're a good singer or just a shower singer, you're all welcome here. It's so nice to have you all. Is anybody here actually for the first time? Do you have any first timers in this space? Hi, welcome, folks. Hello, hello, hello. So nice to have you here. I'm Rabbi Stephen. This is Mishkan. This is our amazing davening team who's going to be helping us create this space tonight. But truly, each and every one of you is so needed, is so necessary to create this space here together. So with Thanksgiving around the corner, I've been thinking about the stories that we tell, about ourselves, about our communities, about the world. I'm assuming that most of you know the mythic story of Thanksgiving, or at least the one that we might have learned in elementary school. And I think there are some people in the, ooh, hello. We are awake. I imagine there's probably some people in the generation below me, and I would like to think that hopefully I was the last generation who, as a kid, used to dress up as pilgrims and Indians, right? We'd make like kind of construction paper hats and sit in a circle on the floor to kind of reenact. Oh. Do we do any tests? Should I test this? Am I good? Okay. Thank you, Chris. That's Chris back there who is keeping us heard and not only seen, but also heard as well. So we used to sit on the floor, right? And we used to kind of like reenact this scene of like peaceful coexistence between the earliest settlers and the indigenous peoples of this land. And I'm assuming that we all know in this space that this story is not true, or at least it's not factual in any sense of the word. And it's important to understand the historical facts that the myth of Thanksgiving, the myth of that story, has obscured the centuries of violence and displacement that have led us to be gathered here, right, on the unceded land of the Council of Three Fires, the Ojibwe and the Odawa and the Potawatomi nations. But just because stories are myths doesn't mean that they don't have something to teach us. I think myths aren't meant to be factual, and we need to be very clear about when the myth and fact don't align, but they are here to inspire us or to challenge us or to push us to reconsider whether the world as it is, the world as it has been, is the world as it should be. Right? The Thanksgiving story, I like to think, is actually more of a dream than an accurate retelling of history, a dream in which the painful history that we've inherited might be reshaped into a better future, one that safeguards our mutual dignity, one that respects the land we stand on, one that welcomes the stranger. And remember that in this particular story, most of us in this room are the strangers, one in which all of us are fed and no one goes hungry. And Shabbat is also a story. It's a story that our people have told for millennia. This is a day on which we enact a different version of the world, right? A mythic version of the world, a world in which people are safe, are seen, are welcome into the space regardless of what you're carrying, whether that's abundant joy or deep heartbreak. This isn't the world that exists outside these four walls. I think we're all painfully aware of that, but this moment allows us to tell a different story, right? To tell a story that might inspire us to imagine the world as it could be. So let this time together be a reminder of what we're hoping for, what we are fighting for, what we are working so hard to turn from a myth into reality. Let this be the space in which your prayer for the world, at least for a few seconds, if not the next hour, becomes very real. Even if just in this space with each other. Very real, so that we're reminded to carry that hope back out into the world that is so desperately in need of that story, a different story. We're going to continue on the bottom of page 2. 40 shana hakupedzor va'omar am toy levavhem vehem lo yadu derachai asher nishpati ve'api im yevun el menuchati. We're on page 3.
Shiru l'Adonai, shir hadash, shiru l'Adonai, kol haaretz, shiru l'Adonai, v'aramot shemo, masru meyom leyom yeshuato, sapru v'goyim kevodo v'chol ha'amim b'milotah.
Shomer nafshot chasidav, miyad yesharim yatzilem, or zarua latzadik, ul yisraelev simcha. Simchu tzadikim Adonai, vehodu lezecher kodsho. Mizmor shir ladnai shir chadash, sing a new song to Adonai. We make our way through pages 5 and 6, looking at the poetry, letting our eyes wander over the words, English or Hebrew, or you can get lost in the commentary on the side, or even just close your eyes and enjoy being in this space, away from the noise of the world. We did import a Shabbat cement truck specifically for this occasion to remind us of the space between the working world and the sanctuary we create here. Romamu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavul har kodsho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. We're in the bottom of page 7. Blessed is the essence of your majesty, forever and ever. I'm going to turn in a moment to Lechadodi, but before we do, I have a very serious rabbinic question for people in this room. Do I really have that kind of reputation that if I say I have a serious rabbinical question, you anticipate that it is not, in fact, a serious rabbinical question? This is a very serious question. Has anybody seen the movie Frozen 2? Has anybody seen the movie Frozen 2? Yeah? Okay, good. Okay. And some people haven't, which is okay. It's okay. But for the past few weeks, there's a song from that movie on repeat in my head, which is one sung by Anna, one of the protagonists, after she's experienced an incredible tragedy, an incredible loss in her life. And I know this movie has been out for years, but if you haven't seen it yet, I'm not going to spoil it for you because you should see it. And this is a great season for watching movies like this, okay? Okay, but she sings, right, in the moments that we feel lost, in the moments that we feel most despondent, the moments that we feel hopeless, that all we can do is, anybody know? The next right thing? Yeah? Yeah? I know, I feel like this was my favorite song from the movie, and everybody else is like, no. It's a great song. It's a great song because I think there's a great wisdom in these words, right? Especially at times when we feel like the challenges of the world, if not the obstacles we face in our own lives, are insurmountable. All we can truly do is the next right thing. And I think of our ancestors, Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah, that the Torah tells us about when we open it this week, who are given the vision of an incredible future, an incredible blessing, but then they're faced with hardship after hardship on their way to their destination. And how amazing it is to look back on their story and see that each of these individuals, each of these characters in the Torah, each of our ancestors picks themselves up. And I don't want to say they pick themselves up out of their despair, but they pick themselves up alongside their despair, along with their despair and their hopes and their anger and their resilience and their dreams, and just do the next right thing. And I think about doing the next right thing. It doesn't take great wisdom or incredible perseverance or superhuman ability. It just takes a little space, a moment to breathe, a few seconds to pause and sit with yourself and say, I got this. I may not got it all, but I got this. I can take that next step. I can figure out what that next tiny move forward is. And so I want to say, you got this. And as we welcome in Shabbat, as we sing Lecha Dodi and call the presence of this day into the space, as we turn and face the door on the last stanza and rise, I want you to not only welcome in Shabbat, but invite that intention as well. You got this. Whatever it is, you got this. You already know how to do that next right thing. We're on page 8.
Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor zachor leibor echad Yishmianu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad L'shem lo tiferet v'litzilah Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha ki lekor habracha merosh mikeden v'sucha sof ma'aseh b'machshava tehila. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela.
Rosie. Ve'et Adonai ta'aritzi ayad ish ve'farti ve'nishmecha
towards the door. And we welcome in Shabbat, that intention, that knowledge that you got this, what you are in this space is enough.
Shalom, ateret kala, gam besimcha, uvetzala, toch emunei, am segur.
Shabbat Nikra Avila.
B'nei Shabbat, one more time.
B'nei Shabbat, B'nei Shabbat Nikra Avila.
Before we are seated, this is the moment in services when we traditionally welcome those into our community who've experienced a loss this past week. And tonight in particular, we're thinking of Scott Miller, whose father passed away yesterday, and Kirk Dornbush, whose father also passed away yesterday. And we welcome them into this space alongside anybody who is here or tuning in who's holding heartbreak in this moment, where the joy of Shabbat just feels maybe a little painful. And we hold them in this moment and say the words at the bottom of page 9. You can join me. Hamakom yenechem etchem betoch sha'ar avlei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. May the Holy One, the source of all comfort, hold you together with all the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. You may be seated, and we'll turn to the next page. Actually, we'll turn a few pages. We'll turn to page 11 for a Benji Weiss OG composition.
Shenim verananim O Denuvum Beseva The Shenim verananim Leagir ki Yeshar Hashem Suri velo avlata bo Leagir ki Yeshar Hashem Suri velo avlata bo Tzadik Adamar Yikra Ke'eretz Bavanon Yizkeh Sheturim be'eret Adonai בשיבה שני ורעננים יהיו עוד ינומון בשיבה שני ורעננים יהיו להגיד כי ישר השם צורי ולא עוולת בו להגיד כי ישר השם צורי ולא עוולת בו צדיק התמר יפרח כארז בלבנון יזכה שתולים בבית אדוני זאת אלוהינו יפריעו.
Shabbat Shalom, folks. It's so nice to have you all here. We are Benji and Caroline and Talias and Bex and Matthew and Emily and Emma, and I'm Rabbi Stephen. And because we just introduced ourselves, I'm going to have all the new people in the room introduce themselves, which is a tradition we have at Mishkan. I didn't just make that up on the spot. So if you're one of those people who said that you are here for the very first time, I would love for you to stand up and just share your name and where in the city or the world you're coming from, and maybe like a sentence about why you're here. And my friend dragged me here as a totally okay reason, but you can also think of a different reason as well. I know we have some newbies in the back here, so if you want to stand up, share your name, where you're from, and why you're here. Yay. Oh my God. Well, Catherine and Heather, welcome. Thank you for being here. Any other newbies in the room? Yeah. Amazing. Thank you, Vincent from Uptown. Hey. Hello. Yes. Welcome, Aaron from Bucktown, originally from the Bay Area. Welcome to the other Holy Land. Amazing. Gabe from Irving Park, we're so glad you're here. Hello. I feel like the fewer people raise their hand when I asked at the very beginning. So, welcome, Kelsey from Lakeview. No, I love it. Hi, welcome, welcome. So nice to have you both here. Okay, I think I found, oh, hello. Amazing. Thank you, Julie from Ravenswood. And yes, Sarah will be speaking later, so you're all in for a treat. Anybody else that I missed around me? Amazing, folks. Well, I have a few announcements to make. We are actually going to be closed. Our offices are closed this coming week. We're giving our staff a much-needed Thanksgiving rest, and I hope, however, you are also spending this next week. It's a joyful and joy-filled holiday for all of you. We will still have Morning Minyan on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 8 a.m. Central. This is a great opportunity to jump in if you haven't normally come to Minyan, a really fun way to start your day. You are allowed to have your screens off, and so if you still want to join Minyan from bed or your commute or walking around, that is also totally okay. We love to have folks there. Are you also going to have it on Friday still? Amazing. I love it. Well, also on Friday as well. If you have questions about Minyan, you can speak to Miriam, who's one of our amazing leaders and participants in that community. We will then be back for Shabbat on Saturday, December 7th at CJDS, celebrating a baby naming and I believe a bar mitzvah as well. Did I get that right, Rebecca? Maybe? Do we have a bar mitzvah on the 7th? Oh, no, just a baby naming. Woo! That's amazing. I feel like we've been, okay, so to repeat for those who are online or who couldn't hear, so next, the Shabbat that we're gathering on the 7th, we'll be having the debut of our teen davening team, which is the teen version of this, although apparently they play a lot of instruments, and they'll be doing it as separate service for the kids. But if you've ever wondered where I disappear to when I disappear from the main service, it's usually to the kids' service because it's super fun. So, so you are also welcome to do that. All people of all ages are welcome. And speaking of welcome, we're going to have our new builder orientation on Tuesday, December 3rd. If you're not a builder, it's a great time to join us. If you're a new builder, see you there. A few other programs. We're having a Resetting the Table workshop, which is having conversations across difference around Israel and Palestine for 20s and 30s. People in their 20s and 30s specifically on December 14th. Come hang out with me and spend Shabbat morning that way. So if you are a young person or know a young person who'd like to be part of that, love to see you there. And then we'll roll into Hanukkah. Despite there only being 8 days of Hanukkah, we're doing an entire month of programming that I'm not going to list right now. I know, seriously, for 8 days of Hanukkah, I believe we're doing like 13 or 14 programs, which begin on December 1st with a teen and tween donut crawl. And of course, we have our small groups, and we have our support groups, and we have our justice teams. There is just so much to do, and I'm always impressed by how our newsletter somehow conveys that in a beautiful and understandable way, given how much is happening in this community. I think let's continue with some davening. Yeah, sounds good? I'm going to invite you to rise as you're able, and we're going to turn to page 13 and face east, which is that way. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach.
Baruch Adonai hamarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher baro b'ariv arivim. You can be seated as we make our way through these words on pages 13, 14. You give the world, and the evening arrives. Establish cycles wisely. Umavir yom v'in laila, umavdil ben yom v'in laila. Adonai tzavot shemo, el chai v'kayam, tamid yiluch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, hamariv aravim. On page 14, Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, amcha ahavta. You love your people, Israel, with an eternal love. That means each and every person in this room, giving us Torah, teaching us a way to live. Ki hem chayenu ve'orach yameinu, uvehem nege yomam v'layla, ve'avatcha al tasir mimenu lolamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. We cover our eyes and we take one deep breath, one intentional breath for each word of the Shema.
ובכל מאודיך. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך.
Adonai, your God, with all your heart, with all your heart.
ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך.
Fix these words which I command you today in your mind and in your heart.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך.
Teach them to your children at all times and places. Speak of them when you're home.
ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך.
Speak them when you lie down and when you rise up, and tie them a reminder on your head.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך.
Your eyes, write them on the doorpost of your
ובכל
house.
נפשך
Write
ובכל
them on
מאודיך.
your gates.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך.
We move through pages 16 and 17. Leman yirbu yemechem v'nemechem. Ahadam asher nishba Adonai lavtechem letet lechem. Ki mei hashemayim al haaretz. Each time you look at them, remember and be holy. Asher otzitetchem me'etz Mitzrayim liot lechem Elohim ani Adonai Elochem. Adonai Elochem emet, emet v'una kozovchem aleinu, ki hu Adonai Eloheinu. Make our way to the bottom of page 18. U'malchuto beratzon kiblo lehem, Moshe u'Miriam u'vnei Yisrael, lecha anu shira b'simcha rabba v'amru chulam. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Norah tehilot osefel. Malchutecha rovanecha bokeyam lifnei Moshe. Ze Eli anu ve'amru Adonai yimloch le'olam ba'ed. V'ne'emar ki fada Adonai Yaakov ugolo miad chazak mimenu Baruch ata Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. As we turn to Hashkivenu on page 19, we bring to our hearts and our minds anybody in need of healing in this moment. It's healing from an illness of the body, healing from a burden of the spirit, healing from brokenness of the heart. We think to people near us, maybe even ourselves. We think to people who are far away. We think to people maybe that we don't even know. We think of the places in the world so desperately in need of peace, a sukkot shalom, a shelter to protect those there from violence and harm. Today is the day we envision, we tell the story of a world that is different from the world we live in now. And so we hold each of these people in that vision, hoping for a future which they might come here and sit with us and sing songs of joy, of peace, of healing. On page 19.
Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom Hamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim
Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, habore sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'al Yerushalayim. I invite to rise on page 20. Are you good? We're having a momentary consultation here. V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. יתגדל ויגדל שמי רבה, ועמד יברך ירצה, והמליך מלכותה, בחיי חון ומכון, ובחיי זכור בישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם עולמי עלמיה, יתברך וישבח ויפאר ויאמרן וינשא, ויהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי לקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תאמירם בעלמה ואמרו amen. We're going to take a moment for personal silent prayer. You can use the words of the Amidah, which begin on page 21. Or you can use whatever words come to your heart or mind. When you're finished with your prayer, you may be seated. The tradition is to take 3 steps backwards and 3 steps forward, as if entering a prayer space of your own making. Come back together in just a moment. So sometimes I am reminded of the profound wisdom that exists in our own community. And over these past few weeks, and really truly in the months leading up to the election, I looked at so many people in our community who were working incredibly hard to make a positive change in this country and in the world. And in fact, we have some people who do that as their full-time job, who've devoted their lives to making this world a better place and whose work continues even now, if perhaps not more critically and importantly. So I'm so honored to introduce Sarah Garzner-Resnick, who is an amazing Mishkanite and also a Mishkan parent and also one of our phenomenal board members and also the president and CEO of Personal Pack. And she'll tell you more about Personal Pack, but it has for the past 4.5 decades been fierce advocates for protecting women's health and reproductive rights, and through electoral politics, holding our officials accountable. And they are the only statewide political action committee dedicated solely to protecting freedom of choice, which is all the more vital in this moment. So I'm going to invite you up to share some words of wisdom and Torah for all of us here, and what an honor it is to have you here in this space. I'll have you come over here.
Well, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. So I already was introduced, so I won't say my name, but I am a Mishkan board member, and I love this community very much. And so thank you for having me here tonight. Personal Pack is the only nonpartisan organization in Illinois solely focused on keeping abortion safe, legal, and accessible. We were started in 1978, but then founded formally in 1989. And we've been instrumental in transforming Illinois from one of the most anti-choice states in the country to a leader in reproductive freedom. The culture and politics of abortion rights in Illinois didn't change on its own. We changed the culture and politics of abortion rights in Illinois. We modeled for the rest of the country what it could look like to create a fair and safe and more just state. And thank God we did, because when the worst case scenario actually happened, Illinois was ready, standing here as a sanctuary. But because of Trump's election, all of that work is now in peril. And if I cry tonight, I apologize. I'm still in a lot of pain. The grief I felt on the morning of November 6th, just a short 16 days ago, was unimaginable. After I told my beloved children, Abraham and Ezekiel, still exhausted from spending 5 days in Michigan with me, knocking on doors to elect the vice president, that we lost, we all sobbed. We got back in bed, and the weight on my chest, that heavy, heavy pressure, didn't subside for many days. I couldn't eat. I couldn't stop crying, and my head was swirling. I couldn't even get my kids to school. A good friend of mine, Julie, who's here today, came over. We made a minion of two. She helped me get in the shower and drink some water and sit in the sun and get me to focus on the future. How do we all get through this moment? What do we do in the face of immeasurable loss, grief, and uncertainty? As is our custom, we turn every week to the Torah for lessons on how to navigate our current lives. And even though the Torah couldn't imagine a world where our social fabric has been torn apart by technology, social media, and our addiction to the content being curated for us on a minute-by-minute basis on our phones, there are still lessons that help us all to navigate these perilous times. So this week, we read about Abraham grappling with Sarah's death. When we experience a tragedy like a loved one's death, it stops us in our tracks. Our rituals and traditions for mourning, like sitting Shiva and gathering with family, wearing a torn ribbon that symbolizes our broken hearts, all of these rituals give us comfort and direction so we don't become unmoored by our grief. Our faith tells us what to do and how to cope. Our community wraps its arms around the ones in need. We help each other honor the loved one's memory during those 7 days and gather again annually to recite the mourner's Kaddish. We help each other rebuild and reimagine a new existence. Importantly, Abraham took time to grieve. The Torah says, Abraham mourned for his wife and cried for her, and when he had finished, he rose up from beside her. He then takes that first step, finding a burial place for her, and when she is buried, he begins to look to the future. Abraham now enters his Yenta era. He connects his oldest son Isaac with Rebekah, and this love connection brings solace to the family and builds the future of Abraham's dreams. I don't think it's an accident that the story becomes future-focused. While grief is a reality of death, it is our obligation to figure out how to keep going, because the future depends on our ability to keep putting one foot in front of the other. We are now in that deep grief that Abraham found himself in, where even taking a shower seems daunting. I can't get out of a hoodie, so hence why I'm wearing one tonight. We need everyone to put one foot in front of the other and to keep going. Abraham's story and my friend encouraging me to get moving reminds me that a little push or connecting two strangers are steps to fixing something that seems irreparable. I know for so many of us that Kamala's loss brings us right into the feelings of deep and profound grief. For some of us, it is grappling with the notion that America is failing to live up to the ideals that we were always taught made us uniquely American. That we were striving for a multicultural democracy that, while imperfect, was always upheld as a light for the free people across this globe. For others, like myself, who spend our professional days trying to create a more just world, we have firsthand knowledge of what the incoming administration means and the visceral level of fear for the most vulnerable people in our country. Now, to bring it back to the issue I spend all day, every day, thinking about, abortion. We are extremely fortunate to live in Illinois. We are one of the most pro-choice states in the country. And it's because of our laws and protections that more than 40,000 people fled to Illinois just last year for abortions. And why the providers who I work with and stand next to every single day feel safe providing care here. Each one of those medical refugees' lives depended on all of us to get the life-saving and essential health care they needed. I'm extremely proud of what we've accomplished here through coalition and collaboration and creativity. Illinois didn't become the reproductive freedom land of the good and plenty overnight. Even in this last election, where the national headwinds were strong against incumbents, all of our pro-choice champions running as incumbents have kept their seats in Illinois. We also had a major win in the Illinois 3rd Appellate District, where a Clarence Thomas protege was running for judge, and we helped to ensure that he was handily defeated. This is where the fairy tale turns into a horror story. If the federal government enacts a national abortion ban, the abortion access we fought so hard to build is gone. There are a lot of ways that this could happen, and I've been spending the last 2 weeks catastrophe planning. I don't want to overwhelm you all, so I'm just going to give you a few examples. Trump could direct the FDA to revoke mifepristone approval, one of the 2 pills used for medication abortions. Miffy is what we call it for short, is used in over 60% of abortions nationwide. Withdrawal of the FDA approval of Miffy would cause catastrophic consequences. There are simply not enough providers to fill the gap with procedural abortions. Also, many people in banned states are not able to travel to us, to a doctor, and rely on mailed medication abortion pills to self-manage their abortions at home. It is also important to note that the medication is used not only for abortion care, but also for miscarriage management. Trump could direct the Department of Justice to enforce the Comstock Act, a zombie law from the 1800s that bans the mailing of lewd materials. That includes medication abortion, birth control, medical supplies used to provide abortions, and those supplies are also needed for non-abortion procedures. We could face the weaponization of federal dollars. In Illinois, state Medicaid funds abortion services to Medicaid recipients. Title X provides birth control for low-income people. Those are just some of the services that the federal government controls and that they can try to starve us into capitulation. None of this is about saving lives. All of it is about controlling our bodies. So what do we do? I've been thinking about how my daily and weekly rituals are going to allow me to do this work sustainably. So here are the guideposts that I've devised so far. Now I'm going to talk about happiness and joy and community care. And I'm not saying these things that are just nice to haves. I truly believe that we are on the brink of authoritarian rule because we have a crisis of happiness in this country. Studies have shown that unhappiness is a very strong predictor of voting behavior. Being extremely unhappy more than doubled a person's likelihood of voting for Trump in 2016. And the unhappiest counties in this country were the Trumpiest. Unhappiness predicted the Trump vote better than race, income levels, unemployment, how many immigrants have moved into the country, or how old or religious the citizens were. Unhappiness also predicted that the Trump election better than any other subjective variables, like how people thought the economy was going or would be going in the future. Importantly, authoritarianism does not depend on solving people's problems to succeed politically. Indeed, it's the genius that it harnesses and feasts on unhappiness without trying to reduce it. So now to our survival rituals. Let me state that while we face some very scary and serious consequences, that our joy still matters. If we stop really fully living our lives, then we have allowed the extreme right to win. So first rule, still have fun. Every day, even when you don't feel like it. Today, I jumped in the snow with a 3-year-old when I dropped off my kids for school. That did the trick. It was fun. We must let ourselves find those glimmers of joy and light. Meditate, dance, cook, play with your beloved pets, have safe sex, invite friends over for home-cooked meals, and go spend time in nature. Second, invest and cultivate in real community building. Invest in your people and in new people. Love them unabashedly. Be there for each other in the most authentic way you possibly can. Love is contagious, and our world is desperately in need of it. So go strengthen and expand your community. Go make friends with strangers. Go to a coffee shop outside your neighborhood and strike up a conversation. One idea that works for me is that I wear our buttons that say, "Ask me about abortion." I have had so many great conversations because of this button. And we brought some for all of you, so just come see me and Julie after services. Third, find your issue. What do you want to light your hair on fire about? Be it protecting access to abortions, protecting our trans community, defending immigrants, fighting for racial justice, defending Mother Earth, but pick one. Rabbi Tarfon taught, "It is not incumbent on you to finish the work, but neither are you at the liberty to desist from it." None of us have to do everything, but all of us must do something. I refuse to give myself over to the chaos that Trump wants us to live in. I care deeply about many issues, but if we inundate ourselves with all the news, then we deplete our energy, our creativity, and our love. But that doesn't mean we don't show up when needed to protect people or help our community. My plan is simple. I will be dogged and obsessive about protecting abortion. And I will take my cues from my allies who are singularly focused on the myriad of other issues. And when they call me and say, Sarah, I need your abortion squad to help us, we will show up and join forces. But I will not spend my precious time drowning in the chaos. Fourth, and this I think is the most important, make time to dream about the more beautiful future we will create. There will be inevitable destruction caused over the next 4 years, and I'm not trying to sugarcoat the pain that will happen to individuals. But when things are destroyed, there's an opportunity to build a better future, a more equitable future. As Jews, we're trained in this work. We're doing it right now. It's why we all observe Shabbat in our own ways. Shabbat is about creating the world that we want to live in, a world of celebration, of creating community, of comforting and supporting one another, of abundance and of peace. Tonight, what we're doing together can be a reminder of that dream, as it has been for our people for thousands of years. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Sarah. I think we can practice your call right now, because we're going to stand up as we're able, and we're going to sing our way toward the end of our service joyfully. We're going to muster it. We're going to exercise that muscle here and now. We're going to be turning to what page are we on? Anybody find the page for me? 32. See, it truly takes a community. Page 32. Aleinu l'shabech ladon hakol latekidu liotze breshit shelo asanu kugei haratzot velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama shelo sam halkeinu kahem וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Bottom page 30. Oh, 232s. Bottom page 32. To remain standing if you're remembering somebody tonight, if you're in a period of mourning or observing a yard site. We'll just take a moment to go around the room and bring their names, their memories into the space. of their memories be for a blessing. We're on page 34. Yitzkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbam be'alma divrach hirute ve'amlich malchute b'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye zechol Beit Israel ba'agala uvizman kari v'imru amen Yehe shmei Rabbam mevarach le'olam omei almaya Yitbarach v'ishtabach v'pa'ar v'troman v'itnaseh V'tadar, v't'aleh, v't'halal, shemei t'kudusha brichu, la'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, V'imru, amen. Yehi zichronam livracha. May their memories be blessings, and may we be blessings to their memories as well. Thank you. I think we're close to the finish line. I have a lot of spare papers up here. Yeah, we're gonna bring in some challah. Yeah. I heard rumors that there actually might also be brioche for people to eat. This is the challah. So pro tip, this is the challah, but there are some brioches, briochim, briochot, for folks to enjoy as well if you would rather have that bread to satisfy your blessing. Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, no, people sometimes think that you have to have challah to bless, but really it's a blessing over bread that we do for like a meal together. Because like challah is like very, like that's like very Ashkenazi, it's very Eastern European. And so like, of course, Jews around the world have had other forms of bread for thousands of years. So you might do motzi over pita or brioche, right? So I'm gonna invite folks to stand as you're able. We're gonna bless some wine and we're gonna bless some bread. We are on page 30. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim ki vanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta im kol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen. We'll uncover the challah. You can hold the challah. We'll reach our hands towards the challah to bless it together, bless the hands who made it. And there is plenty more food out in the lobby for after, and we'll sing our way out and enjoy the rest of the Shabbat evening together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. What are we singing, folks? What are we singing?
Shalom Aleichem.
Great. What page is that on? Page 36.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Sharei, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Sharei, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ay, 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 Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Sharei, Malachei Elyon, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Malachei Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ay, 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 Malachei Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Satan the Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Thanks to our davening team, to all of our staff who helped, and to all of you. Shabbat Shalom, folks. Have a good rest of your evening.